Welcome to Thriller Recaps. Today, I am explaining the movie The Watchers, explaining every scene as it happens. Watch till the end, and please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy this. Mina worked at a pet shelter in Ireland. Her boss warned her about smoking at work since the animals didn't like it. One day, he called her in and introduced her to a golden kana, an intelligent and loyal bird. A zoo near Belfast, which was a day's journey away, needed the bird, so her boss begged her to take it to them. At the end of the day's work, Mina took the bird home. She told it that her mom had died 15 years ago, and then said she was going out for the night, and that it should try not to die. As she turned to leave, the bird repeated her words. Mina dressed up as an American girl and went to a bar, where she lied to a guy she met, saying her name was Carolina and she was a ballerina. The next day, Mina left with the golden kana. After stopping to get gas, she received a voice message from Lucy, telling her about their mom's remembrance service and how the boys were now grown and smart. Lucy advised her to get her life together since it had been 15 years since their mom died. Mina continued her journey, using the GPS to find her way. She drove into a forest, where both her phone and car radio lost signal, and then the car stopped. She got out and saw a signpost saying point of no return. She took the conversation with her and walked a distance, calling out for help but getting no response. Deciding to head back to the car, she hoped to find a way out. When she turned around, she couldn't find her car. She searched all around but eventually gave up. She named the bird Darwin in case they both died in the forest. Mina then saw a woman with white hair and ran after her, begging for help. The woman, upon reaching a metallic door, told Mina to hurry up. Once inside, the woman introduced herself as Madeline and introduced two others, Daniel and Sierra, saying they were all lost like her and that the building was called the Co-op. The people assembled themselves in a straight line and told Mina that watchers came to watch them every night through a window on the other side of the building, staying until morning. When the watchers arrived, they asked Mina to step forward. She heard chittering sounds and was told it was applause, welcoming her to the show. The next morning, everyone stepped outside. Mina told the group she was going home, but they warned her she wouldn't make it. Still, they let her go. As she walked, she heard a female voice calling out to her, asking why she did something. She ran towards a light and ended up in a better lit part of the forest. Madeline came to meet her, explaining that they had all tried to leave but failed. She said the forest caused hallucinations that could drive them mad, as they were prey to it. Madeline showed her a post marked, "Point of no return," explaining that there were many in the forest, and each was about a half-day's journey from the co-op. These posts could guide them back to the coop, but if they went beyond, they would be lost forever. Madeline also mentioned that a man they called the professor had built the coop. That night, back in the coop, Daniel gave an opening speech for the show to the watchers, anticipating Mina's actions. Madeline told her to just be herself. Sierra played music and started dancing, telling Mina the watchers loved it when she danced. After Sierra danced, they watched a show called Lair of Love, where people live while being filmed and find love. Mina turned the back of the CD pack and saw that it was labeled as the property of Professor RK. The next morning, they all went out again. Madeline told them that the sun would be out for about 10 hours, so they needed to be back before sunset. Mina went with Sierra, who was cutting herbs for Daniel's consistent headache. Sierra told Mina that she had arrived with her husband, who had been missing for 6 days. She mentioned they had been there for about 5 months and then took Mina to the burrow where the watchers go during the daytime, although they were not supposed to go close to it. That night, Madeline told Mina the rules: no opening the door after dark, no turning their backs to the mirror in the coop, no going close to the burrow, and always staying in the light. Later, Mina tapped on the mirror, and when she went to lay down, she heard continuous pounding on it. Madeline held her still, explaining that the watcher just wanted to see her. The next day, Mina went out with Daniel while he hunted for birds. He told her he usually hunts with Sierra's husband before he goes missing. When she asked how long he had been in the coop, he said 8 months. Mina then asked why he had never seen a watcher, and he replied that seeing one could drive him mad. Mina decided to go to the burrow. When Daniel cautioned her, she told him to leave her and tell Madeline he lost her in the woods because she needed to see things for herself. Daniel lowered her into the burrow with a rope and told her to stay within the light. Once inside, Mina turned on her lighter. While searching the burrow, Mina saw a newspaper and a video recorder. She picked up a doll, and an insect came out of it, making her jump in fear and hit a bicycle on the floor. Daniel pulled the bicycle up with the rope. Then Mina heard a growl behind her. When she turned, she heard footsteps approaching and saw a creature that said, Narration. She called out for Daniel, and he helped her out with the rope. Mina and the others showed the things they found to Madeline, saying they discovered them under a rock and suggesting the bicycle could help them find their way out before sunset. Madeline asked Mina if she saw something scary, but she adamantly denied it. Daniel connected the recorder to the TV so they could see what the Watchers looked like when they came at night. That night, the Watchers didn't come on time. Then they heard a knock at the door, and Sierra heard her husband's voice. She rushed to open the door for him, but Madeline stopped her and told Mina to confess where she got the items she brought home. Mina explained that she needed to find her way back home, so she went into the burrow. Madeline told Sierra to ask her husband something only the two of them knew. When he didn't know the answer, she told him to show his face to the camera. As he did, the Watchers pulled him away. The Watchers then started hitting the mirror aggressively. They all stood together, with Madeline in front. The Watchers stopped after leaving a huge crack in the mirror. The next morning, they went to return all the Watchers' belongings to the burrow. Madeline assured them they would find another way out. Mina remembered the day she went on a drive with her mom and sister. She was being stubborn, arguing with their mom about the window, when they ran head-on into an oncoming vehicle. Back in the forest, winter came, and the forest was playing with their minds. Daniel went hunting with Madeline, and they argued over getting the game on time. When Mina went back to the coop, she asked if Sierra was okay, then went about her business. When she looked up, she couldn't find Sierra, so ran after her. She found her by the edge of a burrow, saying she wanted to go in to meet her husband. Then they heard Daniel scream and ran towards him. They saw him tying up Madeline, then he ran towards the co-op. Sierra ran after him to find out what was going on, while Mina untied Madeline. When they got to the coop, Daniel had locked the door and wouldn't let them in. It was already sunset, and the Watchers were approaching. Madeline took them under a rotting tree, hoping it would mask their scent from the Watchers, while Daniel and Sierra held hands in front of the mirror. When a Watcher came, he stopped by the tree, and they both held their breath. Then he went to the front of the mirror and called the others. They all started shrieking, seeing only two of them, then went off. Madeline and Mina ran back to the door and begged Daniel to open it. Mina told him she felt responsible for her mother's death and had not been able to recover from the guilt for the past 15 years. She said it wasn't something he should do to himself, and then he opened the door. They all assembled in front of the mirror. Madeline told them she was a history lecturer and had purposely come into the forest to witness the things she read about. However, she only realized how dangerous the forest was when she saw one of the Watchers. She saw the creature, a lot like her but longer, leaner, and looking off. Then she concluded that the creatures were an ancient species, known by many names: changelings, fairies, and winged people. They watched and studied humans to be like them, which is why they would never let them leave. The Watchers started banging the door furiously, so they moved the table to the back of the door to hold it. Then they saw a door on the floor. Daniel opened it, and they all went in, shutting the door just before the Watchers broke the glass. Below, they found a whole living space with food, books, and a computer. Mina checked the computer and saw video documentation from the professor. He mentioned how he came to the forest for research, how he realized the creatures were studying him to be like him, and how they had done this to others who were already killed. They watched a video of him inviting the creature mimicking him into the house, trying to befriend it to learn their abilities, thinking it would be an advantage to him. In the last video, he confessed that the creature had stripped him of all humanity, making him unable to recognize himself. He then disclosed where he kept a boat to return home and pleaded with whoever saw his video to destroy all his work at the university, as some things are better left unknown. He confessed that he would shoot himself, and the creature he adopted to end everything. Then they saw him go up and heard gunshots. They planned to leave the next morning. That night, Sierra made Daniel dance with her. He told her about his drunken father, who beat him all the time. He had a broken nose twice and broken ribs, so one day he took his bike and left the house because he knew he would kill his dad if he stayed. Sierra consoled him and told him he could come stay with her once they left. The next morning, they went out and headed for the boat, walking closely together. Mina released Darwin to lead the way, and they followed. They saw the tomb where the fairies were buried when they began to threaten humans, and they heard their screams and struggles to come out. They continued their journey, but it started getting dark. Birds gushed out, and they heard the Watchers shrieking from afar. They ran towards the river and saw the boat. As they headed towards it, Daniel heard his voice and went back into the forest. The others were trying to get the chain for the boat when they realized Daniel was not with them anymore. They saw him holding Sierra's husband. They tried to call out to him that it wasn't really him, but he couldn't hear them. Then the creature slit Daniel's throat. The others got into the boat and sailed off while the creature shrieked by the edge of the forest. The next morning, 3 women woke up on the boat with Darwin. They saw a bus approaching on the bridge above them, so they went to wait for it. The bus driver parked and took them in. Mina said she would go to the university the next day to get rid of the professor's work, and they all agreed. Mina got to her house with Darwin and took a bath. The next day, she went to the university, pretending to be the professor's niece. She was shown to his office, and the lady there told her that the students had started a committee to raise funds for the professor's project because he really believed in it. When Mina was left alone in the office, she looked for things related to the research. She found some documents and a recording about the professor's first thoughts on the research. It was dated back to when humans and fairies lived together, and even had children together. Those children became changelings and could change into dead relatives to bring them back. When the fairies were banned, the changelings were said to have gone extinct, but he believed they were still out there somewhere. Mina took some other things and left. She went to Sierra's house and showed her photos of the professor and a lady who looked a lot like Madeline. The lady was his wife, who had died of lung cancer years back. Mina felt that Madeline was the watcher the professor had taken in, and that he was trying to change her to become his wife. Since they didn't see him shoot the watcher, maybe she survived. Sierra argued that the watchers couldn't walk in the sunlight, but Mina proposed that Madeline could be a different kind. Both of them awaited Madeline's arrival. When a vehicle came into the compound, Sierra went out, and Mina turned to the Sierra she had been talking to and realized it had been Madeline all along. Mina tried to warn Sierra, but Madeline transformed into Sierra's husband and hit her on the head. Madeline said she was out to seek revenge on humans because it was their fault that her kind was banished to the forest. She told her that she was named Ainriocton, meaning daywalker, because she could walk in sunlight. She explained that the professor had also promised to help her but instead pointed a gun at her. She didn't trust humans and had been studying them all the time they were together. She transformed into the professor, then into Mina, and told her that she could take her pain away while she moved around in her image. Madeline held Mina against the wall by her neck, trying to kill her. Mina told her that she was partly human because their ancestors had children with humans, which was why she had human traits. She told her she believed there were more people like her, and she could help them. Madeline then turned into a fairy with wings and flew away. Mina woke up Sierra, but she didn't tell her anything. Mina narrated everything to her twin sister, Lucy, and told her that she still felt Madeline watching her and saw her in the form of a little girl among the crowd. Lucy assured her that everything was all right. Then her nephews showed her a painting they made of her and Darwin. Darwin chirped at the window, looking at Madeline watching them in a child's form. Watch.